Welcome to the Spent the Rent podcast. I am your host, Patty Rose. My guest today for the third time is good friend of the show, Isiah Wagoner. Isiah, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother.
So this is the third time you've been on, but this is a little bit different. Today we're going to be talking about a new business venture. You have just opened early this summer a Shave Ice stand, and this is really cool. JustIce, Shave Ice. I guess this is a big question. It's a play on words, but is it just ice or is it justice?
So it is JustIce or JustIce, however people would like to pronounce it. It's originally just JustIce Shave Ice LLC. The name came from my dad after I was trying to figure out exactly what type of name I wanted to present for it, because it was going to be a family-based name originally, something for my nephews, niece, and my daughter, because that's what really kind of inspired me to open this, so I could be able to take family trips. And so, struggling for the name, my dad just said, hey, why don't you call it JustIce? It's justice and it's just ice, and I think it's fitting for you, son. And so that's what it is. That's what we went with.
So now how did Shave Ice become a thing? I mean, as far as you've been looking at different business ventures over the last, few years, and how did this one become something you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump into this.
So it was something tangible. We looked at the overall the cost of it, and something that we could do that we didn't need to do kind of full time and put our entire effort into. Something with people that are doing hot food. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of prep work. So it's one of those things that you kind of just, if you're doing it, that's your job. I have a 9-to-5. My lady has a 9-to-5. So essentially we wanted something we could just get away with doing on the weekends, doing events. And that was something tangible for our lifestyle.
Right. Now, with a Shave Ice stand, you probably have done a lot of research into the origins and whatnot. So a lot of people, when they think Shave Ice, they think Hawaii. So talk a little bit about kind of what you've done, because when you've researched this and kind of looked into doing this, you definitely had to kind of like figure out where it started and kind of know a little backstory. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So people associate Shave Ice, and it is Shave Ice. I wanted to give that breakdown for the authentic name. Excuse me. It is Shave Ice, not Shaved Ice, and that's pretty much what it's called. The difference between Shaved Ice and Shave Ice, everybody wants to debate it, but regardless, what Shave Ice is essentially is taking a razor blade and shaving an ice cube with it, if that's what you want to call it. If you were thinking of a snow cone, it would be more of taking an ice cube and blending it or crushing it with a hammer. So you're just having a crushed ice, really fine crushed ice you can, and you're putting it with flavors. And those flavors can change and be different as well. So, and the name and the product is essentially from Japan. It's made its way around the world. People associate it, especially in America, with Hawaii because it's called Hawaiian shaved ice. I think Hawaiian shaved ice is a different style to Hawaii. It's a little bit different than the way that they do it in Japan, or the way that they would do pat binsu is another treat that's out there as well. So essentially, we don't call ours Hawaiian shaved ice. We're more local. We've studied a lot of how they would be shaving it and how they would be doing it and serving it. But it's our style. It's our way of creating it. So
yeah, we
call it more of like a black shaved ice.
And that's the thing with JustIce too. So now hitting the ground running in the summertime. Your first event, talk about your first event. That was in Florence. Is that correct?
Yeah. So our first event was in Florence at an ATV shop. Beautiful day. Got to meet a lot of people, serve a lot of locals. The time framing of it was beautiful because we were able to kind of get our practice. And, when you first start any business and you're the worker, you don't have somebody managing you and telling you where to be, where to stand, how to do things. it's kind of daunting at first. You don't know exactly how it's going to work, how you're going to be, you're the owner. So it's right there in your face. And then as you get into the swing of it and get into the hang of it, things get much easier and things become way more enjoyable. So, and then it prepared us, but we were very still ill prepared for Juneteenth.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
was the next event.
Juneteenth was a real success this year. Juneteenth in Eugene was at Alton Baker Park, and it was, I think, mostly or all Black-owned businesses, or at least primarily, and it was a huge success. And for anybody that went, I went with my partner Dana, and we waited in line for about an hour for some shaved ice from you, and man, it was worth it. You do some really cool stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the added ingredients, some of the candy and, gummy bears and peach rings. That was a nice little touch. We'll get to that in a second. But talk about what Juneteenth, the celebration, meant to you this year.
For us specifically, it's really great to see my brothers and sisters in the community also coming together for an event that's a beautiful event of freedom for our people. And it was a lot of love. I mean, it was a lot of love. You never know what any event's going to bring you until you show up and you kind of see the reaction of the crowd. And we knew that we were doing all right when we had a couple of people wait in the line twice. I mean, that really says something. It's just crazy. I'm super happy that people came out, enjoyed the product and really loved it. And, the back of the house is running all right, but the front of the house is running better. So, you know.
So the front of the house, talk about working with your partner. She's a big part of this, and this is an opportunity that you guys can spend a lot of time together and whatnot. So speak about how that matters, or what that means to you to be able to work with her, just kind of on your off times away from your 9 to 5.
It's been a blessing. It's a grind. We still have our struggles. We still bicker like any couple would. But the beautiful thing about it is that when we come together and we're on the same page, I would say majority of the time, our end goal is definitely on the same page. And so it comes together beautifully. I mean, there's a lot of couples that might be able to not do this. And that was a funny thing. It was one of the things that I looked at as a YouTube video that there's this couple that does it, and they were saying he would come home too tired and not be able to spend too much time with me and the kids and working 9 to 5 and doing all this stuff. And I was working too, and yada, yada, yada. We came together in Texas, of course, so you can do it year round. They came together. They were doing it year round. Like, it's benefited our business because we've been able to spend time together always, meaning like we didn't have to go and spend time with people at work and 40 hours there. So it really benefited the relationship when it comes to that. So, and we can do it part-time together, which is beautiful.
Yeah. Also your daughter. So you had told me off air about how your daughter is kind of like, who better than a 7-year-old,
the taste ambassador.
Yeah. The taste ambassador. Yeah. Talk about that a little bit and how her input is so important. We talked about peach rings and adding candy to the top, and she's kind of the one that she sets the tempo. She knows what people are going to like. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So, we just essentially asked her, what would you like to see on top of our shaved ices? What would you like to see as toppings? What would you like to see as flavors? The place we get most of our flavors from, and our natural flavors from, they have different colors for different flavors. So watermelon, red, green. I said, honey, what color is watermelon? She said, watermelon's red, Dad. So we go with red because, she's speaking for all the kids out there.
Yeah. So now, speaking of kids, you had said that one of the motivations for starting this was that you'd like to take, your nephews and whatnot and nieces on a trip. And so this is a way to make some extra cash on the side. And so something like that. But this is also one of the beauties of doing something like this is that the community kids, all the kids in the area that get to come, that's the ones that they see an ice cream man, they see a shave ice truck, and they light up. So that's probably been really rewarding. So at these events, and especially, with Juneteenth, all the events are great in different ways, but I'm sure Juneteenth, seeing, just the crowds and the people that came, that was probably really cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, seeing people I haven't seen in a long time, or seeing people that I've seen around, buddies of mine, friends, family, people that don't really support essentially what BLM would be about, or essentially what Juneteenth would even be about, because they just don't understand. But we've had people come out and have a great experience and have a great time, and really love what we're doing. And so it's been a beautiful response. And um, like I said, this is all about the family. There's goals and dreams and ambitions that I have. I've always wanted to be that uncle that was able to say, oh, our uncle's going to take us to Disney World this year. That's that's an awesome goal to have. Like, that's what I want to be able to do.
Right.
If I can't see them all the time because they're not here, um, then I want to be able to see them.
Yeah,
Sorry, I got a little emotional.
you're good. So we're gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna play. I got a new sponsor, another food item. So I'm gonna let him kind of explain it.
Dirt Balls Energy Bites are the most delicious vegan snack ever created. And they're made right here in Eugene at Elegant Elephant Fine Foods. Go to all of your favorite local grocery stores right now and buy Dirt Balls. Eat dirt, live happy. Go to snacktag.com to learn more.
Yeah, Jeremy Dirtball Cummings is grinding. That's another small business owner in our area that's doing some really cool stuff. So if you
With the excellent name too.
Yeah, dirt balls, and they're basically little round. I'm gonna mess this up, but they're like date paste and coconut butter and all the flaxseed and all these really healthy things that I probably wouldn't like individually, but when you put them together and you smash them together as a dirt ball, they're really good, and they're really good for you. So check those out. Those are Eugene based products. That's now one of my new sponsors.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hate to cut it off when you're getting emotional, but that's rad that you're getting a reward from this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That you're really something you're passionate about. That is, I mean, you've worked really hard, Isiah, in this last year. I wanted to segue into this, that over the last year, you've led marches, you've ran for mayor, and you've sparked a lot of debate in our community. And I think that what you were talking about, where you're saying that there's people that may not, be all on board with some of the different things like the BLM movement and all that stuff. But when you can see that they can come together and see you man to man, that means that what you're doing is making progress. It's actually proving that you're like, I'm an individual and I want respect. You know what I'm saying? And that's at least my take. And I think that's really huge. You're somebody that's never shied away from putting yourself out there. And I think that you've also shown a lot of concessions. This is really difficult, but I mean, you've done some pretty public interviews. There was an interview you did recently that got real heated, in the debate. There was, I'm just going to say it. So you were on Rick Dancer's little show, and man, talk on what that experience was like and what the aftermath was. I'm sure that, because if anybody's listening that didn't watch it, there was 3 people, you, Rick, and another guy. And there was points where I was watching it and it felt like they were kind of cornering you, but some of the questions that were asked from viewers were pretty awful. And so you remain poised, but I want to hear in your words what it's like to receive criticism for having conversations with someone who may just disagree with your message, and why you feel it can be beneficial to do so.
I mean, those type of conversations are tough to have, but they're also needed. I give exactly what I can give at the of what I'm asked. I won't overstep my expertise on certain things. But those conversations need to be had because it's reaching a different audience that wouldn't be watching it on a Black television show or a Black pod stream, or any of that type of content isn't going to reach their ears unless we have somebody who has more of a conservative mind thinking. And I don't want to call Rick is his own person, and he'll tell you that. Whether you can take him or you can leave him, he really doesn't give a damn, and that's the beauty about Rick. I love Rick. I have no problem with Rick. I know that he has his own mind and he has his own opinions. I mean, that's whether we don't like him, it's not going to change him. It's not going to change him. It's not going to change what he's doing, you know. And so, and I think genuinely, the fact is this: he's a good person. He's not going to go out there and be blatantly racist to someone. He's going to try to make every single effort to make someone feel comfortable. Speaking on him as a person of what I know of him, not that everybody's shitting gold, but outside of that, bring me on, challenge me, and let me answer to the degree that I want to answer. I don't think they like some of the answers I gave, but that's just what it is, and that's kind of the way I framed it. And I think I wish I would have did a better job of articulating the fact that both of them had issues with the video, but both of them didn't care to get educated on any of the points or topics that they were talking about and look up to say, hey, look, is this actually factual? Because I'm pretty sure they would look up Google or do any of this. It's like, have they took the time to look up those things? I don't think they did. I just think they said, look, this can't be real.
Yeah, and what we were talking about for context.
That's turning more of a blind eye.
Right,
and so
context.
I wish that they would have looked up and did their research on it. Because if they did their research and came to me with cold hard facts like, hey, this isn't true because this says in this column, yada, 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 then it would have been a different discussion. But I'm like, you're not really coming to me with anything. It's just, it can't be. That's all you're saying. That's your argument.
For context, there's a video going around that people are saying was being shown in critical race theory classes in school, which is not, that's not the full truth, because they're not teaching critical race theory in high schools. They're not. It's a college course. There's classes about, history from a different perspective that's being taught a little bit differently, and we're opening that up. And I'm not, like you had said, as far as the expertise, I'm not an expert on it.
It's been very well examined. I think the funny thing about a lot of these things, a lot of these topics, is that we're seeing more and more what's not okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is what. Let me give you the example. Don't march in the streets. Don't yell in the streets. Don't protest in the streets. Stop all that, right? You don't see any protests. You don't see any of that. Now it's don't do this to the flag. Don't do that to the flag. Don't silent protest or do this. And now it's okay. We just want to get our children educated, get everybody on the same page of where we're at, because we're fighting for just getting the knowledge out there at the very least. Don't educate our kids. Don't do this. And so it's just like, what can Black people do?
Right.
Because it's so funny. They spent the whole summer telling us what we should be doing. And then when we take those approaches, it's fight to the nail. So it goes to show me and a lot of people that they don't want this change to happen, because they're fighting us on every type of change we're trying to make that is tangible.
Right. And the whole thing about having conversations with people that have a different audience, I think that's really huge. I think it's that, you putting yourself out there so that, because there's no question Rick's reach is huge. So it definitely has an impact that there's going to be naysayers. And I give you a lot of,
we flat out just don't agree on it. Me and Rick flat out
and I think that's good. And last week, my episode, I interviewed the new Springfield police chief.
Yeah.
And my opinion on it was, I was giving him, he's new, so we're gonna let it happen. And we've seen results, in my opinion. There's a charge in Springfield this last week on bias, like a charge of basically hate crime, which you have not seen in the past. Now, my point, I got a lot of criticism, not a lot. I got some criticism for even having a conversation with him, but my attitude was like, wait a minute, if I can get more bees with honey by my approach of like actually hearing this guy out and then creating kind of a connection and a bridge, then maybe I can use a little bit of whatever sliver of influence I have,
Well, here's the thing. The police are here, and they're here to stay for a good period of time. I can't speak of what's going to happen 100+ years. Things change rapidly. I can't speak on it. But in our modern day society and the way that I see the world working as we're going forward, they're here and they're here to stay, and they're just trying to make the departments better. So that being said, why not be able to get to know your local sheriff,
Yeah.
get to know your local captains, get to know your local people who are in charge of getting these things done for you, holding these people accountable, making sure that everybody, there's an open office that everybody feels comfortable with, everybody feels comfortable with their safety and what's going on. That's important. And so I don't see why that's an issue. The issue is when you don't know who these people are. That's a huge issue.
Right.
When they want to hide and be under covers and only come out to what they want to come out to, and then they don't, and they'll speak when they want to speak. But you have people that want to say, hey, look, I'm here. I want to get to know the community. I'm willing to do Spent the Rent podcast. I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to listen. So come on. Let's try this.
And I think that there's something to be said for the fact that a lot of the criticism comes from people that are like, fool me once kind of thing. Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And so for people that are like, look, until we really see change, I'm going to be extremely skeptical. So I understand that. I completely understand that.
I have no issue with that either.
Right.
I have no issue with that either. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying,
no, not at all.
For most people, it's just at least keep an open mind. That's where I'm at. Keep an open mind. Always keep to your true values and how you believe. There's a lot of things I don't trust. That's why I opened up my own business. I don't know if I'm working for someone else, that means that person can get rid of me at will at any time. And I don't know,
right.
The world isn't promised to you.
Yeah.
So there's other things you got to put safeguards in. And so I'm fine with people putting safeguards into anything, but open up.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, I'm Thomas Yuda and I talk a lot, and you and him, and we have this whole network that's built over really the last calendar year with COVID and shutdowns and all this different stuff. We've become friends. We had a dog park date and walked around at the dog park, you and I, but Thomas and me and you, we're three completely different people that have this really cool, strong little network. And I love it, because we are so different from different experiences. And him and I talk a lot about how we're not, just because we consider each other allies to each other, friends, really true friends, that does not mean that we're signing off on everything that we're about. We're all going to disagree. We're all going to learn and grow from each other. And I think it's really important. It's important, Now, you have been somebody over the last year that has been as public as anybody in our community and has put yourself out there more than, as much as anybody. What is the one thing, the biggest thing that you've learned over the last year?
Being misunderstood as a bitch.
Sure.
And I mean, that's my completely unfiltered, honest answer. Yeah. That's what I've learned the absolute most, I mean, there's so many things, and that's the real beauty of it. I've learned so many things, and I'm happy. I've grown. I'm continuously growing, and that's what it is. There's a lot of things that I didn't know were appropriate or inappropriate to say or inappropriate to do, or, feelings and actions that I wasn't paying attention to that I started paying attention to, and mental health and a lot of other things, that I wasn't really paying attention to because I was also brought up to, be a macho man.
Sure.
And in a lot of instances, I am that person, but there's a lot of me that I still need to break down. I still need to be able to be me and be emotional.
Yeah.
And it's funny, man. It's funny I cried on your show because I've been needing to cry and I haven't been able to cry for like months. And I'm just like, I don't even know what's wrong with me. Like, I just need to just have a good one. And you brought, I don't know what about this show. Maybe it was talking about my family.
You're talking about your family, I think it's pride. I think it's a sense of accomplishment. I think you're working really hard. I think you're doing big stuff. So that brings me to an important question. What's next for Isiah Wagoner?
I'm not stopping. It's kind of whatever else really calls me, right now it's trying to make make my family grow bigger and be in the realm of marriage with my woman and, completing that triangle, trying to do that. I think I'm trying to make sure home is all the way perfect and right.
Right.
Yeah.
Not,
I don't want to say perfect, but I want to try to make everything as secure at home Not that it already is, but there's just things I need to tidy up,
Stability, exactly. That's good.
Yeah. Tidy the stuff up. So that's really what's next. And then after that, it's the sky's the limit, man. My lady's gonna be going to U of O and starting law school and pursuing her dreams. And right now she switched jobs and she's working with foster care kids that are I should say have issues. So she works in that kind of sector of foster care right now. And what's next for me is I want to continue these businesses. I want to see what's going to be tangible, what's going to grow. And I'm inspired by kids, man. I want to open up more things for kids.
Yeah.
That's why if I had the money, man, if you don't think that we wouldn't have a big go-kart center here, indoor, double, like a Mario Kart style fun center, we would have that here, man. If I had the money for that, like I said, that's another idea. Mark my words, you might see it in 2 years.
For sure.
And be like, Isiah wanted to do it, but I can't because I don't have the money. There's so many things I want to do. I just don't have the money, man.
Right.
That's what's really next. It's finding those things that I enjoy, that I want to bring families together. I want to give experiences like that and be able to be there and be a big kid with them at the same time. Like, that's really what I love, man, because when you can bring families together, that's how you you start ending things that need to be ended.
Right. Well, yeah. So, talking about never quitting, never stopping, I want to give a shout out because this is the last episode of my 3rd year of the podcast. So I did the math and I'm averaging about 44 episodes a year. It's pretty crazy. So I'm going to be taking 2 weeks off. A much needed break. I'm actually going to a wedding next weekend in Colorado. I never leave Eugene, so this is a big deal. And so I'm going to be taking off. So I wanted to take this opportunity to give a shout out to some of my sponsors, the big ones. Oregon Cashflow Pro has been with me since the gate. James Barber is amazing. So shout out to Oregon Cashflow Pro. And then Subdermal Art Collective Tattoo Parlor. Jake Williams is just awesome. And that's somebody that Jake and I disagree on politics big time. And he sponsors my show, signs off on my bullshit. And so shout out to Jake. I love it. And then Jeremy Dirtball Cummings for joining on board. Like I said, find your dirt balls in your local grocery store. They're really good. So I recommend that. Plus you can go to snacktack.com. snacktak.com, and you can order them online, and he ships them personally. This is his own private business, just like what you're doing. It's like an individual in Eugene, just doing something that had an idea. And here's some treats, something that can put a smile on your face. I don't know if the shave ice is necessarily healthy, but it's a good thing to do every once in a while.
I'm not selling health. I never said I was.
No. I'm just saying.
I'm selling fun in a cup, man. An experience in a cup. You're not gonna get it everywhere, so might as well get some while you can.
Right.
You can get Dairy Queen year round.
Right.
So we're here for you to offer something else.
And I definitely do. So I live real close to one. So Isiah Wagoner, it's always a great thing to talk to you. I'm really proud of what I've watched come out of you over the last year and your evolution as a human being. It's been really cool. You've done a lot of stuff. This has been a wild year. So
it's been awesome. It's been awesome. Hey, I have an idea, man. I think that you, me, Thomas, and a couple other people should get together and talk about filming and doing like a circle chat, but with like local maybe another Black business owner and maybe a couple business owners,
yeah,
and just going through our experiences.
Yeah, I've been thinking about
like
this
an
too.
Hour show that would be something money, man.
A forum. Mark Molina is somebody that I'd like to also get involved. Because Mark is Hispanic. And
do it like a shop setup though, like where we're kind of sitting down talking.
Sure, but we can really get some different viewpoints from different people and their different experiences. I think that would be really good. It's definitely been something that's been brewing. Thomas works 9 days a week. So it's really difficult. He has like 11 jobs. So
I do too. I literally have to go like right after.
I know. This is we had some technical difficulties, so this is actually take 2. Little secret out there. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. But yeah, we will definitely. The work is just beginning for us. That's a
Stop
given.
by Justice Shave Ice.
Yeah, where's your next event?
Follow our Facebook. Please post it.
Oh yeah,
follow
socials.
Our Instagram, please post it.
So just.ice541, and then
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
And Justice Shave Ice on Facebook.
Right, and I'll link all that stuff and wherever you listen or watch this podcast.
Please like, please follow.
Yeah, so Isiah Wagoner, thank you very much. We're going to end this with a song, and this is awesome. So this is a newly released single from an upcoming album from a Eugene band. The band has a very long name. It's called Thinking About You Underwater. And one of my customers at the barbershop, Brandon Ferguson, he's on bass, and they just released a YouTube video. The new album is called Teyu, which is the acronym for Thinking About You Underwater. That's the band. The song's called Tsunami, and it's awesome. Like, it's this awesome Eugene indie rock band that's just popping out some really quality stuff. Like I said, new album coming July 23rd, so check out, keep your eyes peeled for Thinking About You Underwater. That's the longest name ever for a band. But Isiah Wagoner, thank you very much. You're awesome. I appreciate you. And this is the song Tsunami by Thinking About You Underwater.
And I felt you underneath. Your eyes were sleeping on me. You set sail but you couldn't see. The